Sylvanas Mythic. Standard single target talents. I'm running Orb instead of Ruby because I like it. It's gray. Standard single target opener. Didn't get procs on this one. 9 imp opener because I got a demonic core proc. And then I'm actually going to use my first demonic strength early because we have a couple of boomkins and they do a lot of damage. So I'm going to use my demonic strength very soon here. So there we go. Demonic strength. Because the implosion that I have here and also just the boomy damage ramping is enough. It's enough to take care of the chains. So I don't need to hold my first demonic strength, and then it will line up better for the second chains by like 1 or 2 seconds, which matters a bit. Second Tyrant is really important to get on cooldown because you're fighting against the clock to get the full Tyrant duration into the boss before it goes away for the second Veil. So I've already started my ramp here for the second Tyrant. There we go. I think I'm going for a 11 imp Tyrant here. 11 imp Tyrants. And then Sorrowed after. Bang. I'm playing Dreamweaver. I don't think Dreamweaver is bad on this fight. I think it's pretty good. So you can see here how standing in mechanics, because demo, basically that's the end. That was the end of my Tyrant, and barely comes out before the Veil. It's really, really useful to have a demonic circle in the middle. In general, it kind of depends on the positioning that you use as a guild. But if you in most scenarios, having a demonic circle in the middle will be very useful. So here, the boss is pretty high. Like this is where you will start like slowing down DPS on the boss if the boss is very low. But it really depends on how far into progression you might be, or on farm, whatever. Like, I'm gonna actually use my orb here. I orbed a little bit early, but I'm gonna do a quick setup here, and just a quick 6 imp setup with a PI. But I have to put my pet on passive here. So you see, my pet is on passive. I'm not hitting anything, and then I think I walked to the wrong direction here, but I call it out. Hold my demonic strength to pad like a good boy. It's not much to say, but like that's the third Tyrants, like the third Tyrant in P1 as Demon Sylvanas. You want to basically just set it up on the boss right after the third Veil, and then you can put your demonic strength if it's needed into the arrows, or you can hold it. Or you can hold it for the sentinels. In intermission, you're pretty much useless as demo. Like, there's not much you can do here. You can summon a Valfiend while waiting for the things to spawn. That's something that can help a bit. Like, I just basically use all my stuff to try to kill that solo one. Like, I do a little bit of a damage to the solo one, and that's the most useful I can be in this intermission. But skip. Okay, so right here, if you need damage on the first ad platform, like that's where you need a lot of damage, then you can orb right here, right where I'm standing now. If you orb right here, it should be back up for the third ad platform. If you orb later, then it's not going to be back up. The timings are pretty tight for 2 minutes to come back up. So what ends up happening is I'm only using 2 minutes like once in this phase. Even though I could technically use them twice, it's like one of the uses is like really, really scuffed. So I end up going for like one use. and that's just like wherever we need damage. This phase is just about like having enough damage to get through and putting the damage in the right places. So I think I actually press orb here. I don't press orb. Okay. I don't know why. I could have pressed orb here. The tyrant setups on this platform are very, very scuffed. Like they are never gonna be good. You basically just use the shards you have with like 2 or 3 imps. It really depends. You can maybe do 1 Shadow Bolt to fish for a demonic calling proc, and that's gonna be pretty good. But apart from that, it's not much you can do. As you walk across this bridge, it's actually a good idea to put your pet on passive so it doesn't get stuck. I think it might get stuck for me behind here, which is not great. Gateway. You do have time, assuming you pressed Vile Fiend early on the previous platform, you can Vile Fiend again here, and it's gonna be back up for the next platform. So you basically, phase 2 as demo, you're kind of playing without a legendary, which feels bad, but it's the way it is. Since I don't really do any damage to the boss here anyway, I kind of take a back seat and just move up. I put my pet on passive, so it will follow me up after the boss goes immune. And then I should press orb here. I think I'm a bit late doing it, though. I like, oh shit, I wanted to orb here. I think. If I don't do it, I'm a monkey. Okay. Do I just not press orb at all in this P2? Bad player. Again, quick tyrant setup, and you could press your. You could technically press your Grimoire again on this platform, but it's gonna be very, very scuffed. It's not gonna do a lot, and it's gonna make your timings in the last phase really bad. So my advice is just pick one of the platforms to press 2 minutes on. If that is the first or second ad platform, that's whatever. But you can press Vile Fiend in between on the boss. I've actually never had I've never been assigned to hitting the boss in P2, so I don't even know how the timings work out for that. Focus gateway, click gateway. You can Vile Fiend on boss. But P3 is where the magic happens. P3 is really where the magic happens. So right here, what you really want to do here is just cast Shadow Bolts and Demon Bolts and hope that you get a Demonic Calling proc. I really just want a Demonic Calling proc, and I got one. So you have 1 global to press when stage 3 hits. So you target Sylvanas. Make sure you have Sylvanas targeted right now. And you cast Dogs. This will ensure that you actually get core procs for your first Tyrant here. Move into your Veil position. Do 1 hand, build to 5. Do 1 hand, build to 5, and then do hand, Demon Bolt, hand, Demon Bolt, maybe another Demon Bolt. Then Orb, Vile Fiend, Grimoire, Dogs, and then you can maybe go for it. I go for a 9 imp Tyrant here. That's like, that setup is like, you want to do the imps. Let's go through that again. Like, you really want to do the hands that go into your Tyrant before the Veil. Hand, Demon Bolts, hand, Demon Bolt. Then the Veil is coming. Orb, if you have it. Vile Fiend first, because that makes it so that your imps will not start casting on Sylvanas until you actually press something on Sylvanas. That's kind of important. So that your tyrant gets like full value here. Then I'm not quite. I press dogs here, but I'm not sure if I should press dogs here or if I should hold for the other side. Like I'm legitimately unsure about that. I've always pressed it. I don't think the damage difference is big either way. But I don't know if it's actually better or if I just think that it's better. Now there's going to be a Veil. And the goal is to start casting your Wild Fiend in this Veil, ideally. And then get like a 9 Tyrant, 9 or 11 Tyrants. And then get it out here. If you can find this timing, it's really, really good. But I think if you wanna be able to have enough CDR, you kind of need PI. But if you don't PI, it's fine. You're just gonna get it like 2 seconds later. The PI difference on CDR on Tyrant is not as big as people might think it is. Mechanics, mechanics, mechanics. Mechanics, mechanics. Mechanics, mechanics. Okay, this is another important one. This is, on the second platform, it's Veil into Race. What you can do on this platform, if you have a high shards and Corprox coming out of it, is you can actually do the hands. You can do the hands here. So I did like a lot of hands. I probably could have managed it a little bit better. But those imps will not cast on Sylvanas once the race goes up. And then you can orb as you land here into Wild Fiend, Grimoire, Dogs, maybe another Demon Bolt into hand, and then Tyrant. So it's the same thing where you do the setup, but not in a Veil. You do it on a race instead. So you see here, I land, I orb, I target Sylvanas, I summon Wild Fiend before she comes back. Then I have my 2 spells. And then because I didn't manage my hand Demon Bolts cast as well as I should have beforehand. I only get 6 imps into this Tyrant, but it is really good to do it that way. And you can get a 9 imp Tyrant. If you do this first, that it makes sure this will make it so that you're able to cast your Tyrant a lot faster than if you were to do a full setup on the third platform as you land. Which means that the next Tyrant will be able to be casted before you have to do your soak and before it will finish before the Veil. So if you don't do it, then you will find yourself having to do your Tyrant setup during your soak. And also it will not get full, and if you don't manage to do it before the soak, then it won't get full value before the Veil. So we're going to come back to that in a little bit. In a little bit. Also, funny side note. You can press Demonic Strength when you're silenced by the thing. So if you're looking for a global to press, you can maybe manage it so that you can cast that in the silence. I soak. And then the next soak is the one that is gonna be is fucked if you take it. Is Dreadstalker Conduit better than Felguard? Pure single target, yes. Okay, so right here, I can start my next setup. I saved a lot of Corprox for it, so I should be completely fine. And I can already do my setup here. It's gonna be a 9M setup, I think. And then you see that I'm done with my setup before my soak comes in. It's going to be knives into soak, and I'm already done with my setup. So this one will actually... I see that Jervs has it, so I'm moving away. But it's like this Tyrant you will not be able to get this Tyrant out if you don't do the pre-setup on the previous platform. You can do this without PI very comfortably, but you have to do the pre-setup on the third platform. I should have probably pressed my demonic strength into my... I make a mistake here and I don't press my demonic strength. Like, I should have pressed demonic strength instantly when it came back up here, because it would have been done. It's like Tyrant Soul and Chaos Bane. It's like the dream scenario, and it comes back up here, but I don't press it, and then I realize it too late, and then it's like, oh fuck, it's too late. Because then I would have been pressing it into the Veil. But yeah. Now we're gonna go over to the last platform after that Veil. So Tyrants, and then you have the new Veil, and then I pick up a pool on the way out, which I shouldn't have. I have to move out, and I'm not... I don't remember exactly when we Tyrant here. I think I Tyrant after the Veil. On the last platform, on progression, you can maybe cast another Dreadstalkers, because you're... you can maybe cast like an extra Dreadstalkers because you have to hold your Tyrant for the Veil, because you lust after the Veil on progression. But in some kills right now, then you kill it before the Veil, or like right after, so you're gonna lust earlier, and then you might want to hold on to it and press like normal. Like right now, I could do a Tyrant setup and have my Tyrant end right before the Veil. But I don't think that we are doing the early setup right now. So I'm basically just holding all my stuff. I'm holding on to quite a few core procs, like between 2 and 3. And just waiting for the Veil. So it's gonna be Scream here, and then it pulls, and then Veil. So if I'm a smart boy, I orb here, and then I'm gonna start casting Hand Demon Bolts, and then I can, again, Vile Fiend in the thing, and then hopefully I can make this a 9M Tyrant. Yes. So on Sylvanas, because of the Veil, you can manipulate the Veil to do the imps that imp casts before the big demons cast, but still get the same amount of imps into the Tyrant because of the downtime. Especially when utilizing the fact that you can cast Vile Fiend without a target. And then we kill it afterwards. Pew pew. Obviously, this is with PI. But the timings, if you have high, like I have high haste, but if I can keep the same timings as long as you don't get the arrow. The arrow is the only thing that really diminishes this. But the boss dies here. The only thing that is really bad for these timings is if you get an arrow, everything is going to be moved further back because you don't get the CDR value when you're doing the mechanic, and that's just something that is just the way it is. But if you don't get arrow, then you can do these timings even without PI, for sure. The only thing that you might not be able to do is to get a full Tyrant in before the Veil on the last platform, if that ends up being the timing. Any questions? Can you repeat all that? Hehe. Yeah. Why does my penis grow in the morning? That's on you, dude. Do you whisper your praise for PI? Yes. Well, basically, I have he has a weak aura, and I use a macro to trigger the weak aura. He will get like a glowy thing, and then he presses PI on me, and then the glowy thing goes away. I never get to cast third Tyrant in P1. Oh, you have to hold damage. I mean, you can still cast it. You just literally you should still cast it, and then you just put it on the ads as the Sentinels. Yeah. You hold damage forever, that's fine. But you still cast it with everything on passive, and then you just put it on the ads. Because there's nothing else to do it on. So if you want to do a little bit more damage, then you can do that. You're gonna do a lot of Sentinel damage. Awesome explanation. Will you upload that to YouTube? Probably yes. Do you explain other fights like that? I don't think I have. I mean, if it's something that a lot of people like, then maybe I should do more of it. Can you actually do this fight without Moonkins? I found the intermission to be nearly impossible without any Moonkin. I mean, you need someone to carry. It's definitely doable, but you need better assignments. Like, you kill this, you kill this, you kill this. Is Orb Trinket best? I think Orb Trinket is... I don't know if it's better. The most damage I ever did was with Ruby, but I think Orb should be better. Because the boss doesn't go that low. It only goes to 45... It dies on 45%. So you don't get, like, Giga Ruby in the end. Feels like Dream Devil or debuff has wild downtime in this fight. Does it though? I mean, you restack it pretty fast. I'm pretty sure that it's still better. It's gonna run the last phase in the background while I answer questions. Do we have a haste cap on Demonology? There's no real haste caps. There is certain thresholds where we get extra shots on extra shots from Tyrant, but it doesn't even really show up in Sims as being that big of a gain. For Sylvanas, it's really great. Lots of sort improvement timings wise. Yeah, the thing is with Nia, you don't have the same ability or impact to do the pre-setup because you have to do your soul rot before. You can still do it, but it just feels more impactful to do the pre-setup and then Dreamweaver do the do your soul rot afterwards. Like right here, okay, this is before the third platform, right? This is the race before the third platform. What I should have done, my casting sequence here, after this, first of all, I should have pressed my circle. Right here, I should have pressed my demonic circle to have movement speed to get over. That's something that I don't really do, but I think that is something that I should do. Demonic circle to have speed to move over, then hand demon bolt, then shadow bolt. I should have cast a shadow bolt here. Shadow Bolt, then I'm on 5, and then hand, Demon Bolt, hand, Demon Bolt, hand, Demon Bolt, then maybe another Demon Bolt, and then leave. Then I would have gotten a 9M Tyrant on this. I don't have a pet passive keybind, so it's always really awkward. Okay, if you don't have a pet passive keybind, you should really try this. Bind, zoom in and zoom out to either control scroll in and out or alt scroll in and out. And bind pet passive and pet assist to scroll down for passive, scroll up for assist. It's the best thing I have ever done. It's so intuitive. It's like you pull your pet back, scroll back. Assist, scroll forward. It's so intuitive. It's awesome. Because you don't need to, like, when you need to zoom in, you have the time to, like, okay, I want to zoom in, I'll zoom in, or control zoom, right? Because I find it like, oh, I don't know where to put it. Like, I didn't find, like, any comfortable keybinds for pet passive. Which trinket can we take instead of Ruby if we don't have it? The Orb. Orb of Tormented Habla Hablaba. Scroll for arena targeting? Yeah, that's probably useful. I don't do much arena though, so I don't know about that. The Grey 8 Ball, yeah. Is there any good on use apart from that? I think you really want Ruby or Torment Orb. Like, you want one of those. Control 4 passive, Control 5 assists. Yeah, I just really like my new scroll as keybinds, that's all. But I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna go make food and watch some Supernatural with Mano, and enjoy my evening. This is probably gonna go to YouTube, so hey YouTube. Maybe it's gonna be clipped before I say that though. But yeah, we'll see. thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. If you're new and want to follow the stream, feel free to follow. Subscribe if you really want to. I have a YouTube channel, so you can follow that. I have a Twitter account.